Welcome back, everyone. This is our Wink 7. Hope you're all doing well. It's coming up on Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. This will be the second part of the, divisions discussion that I was having with the Division 0 video, where I showed the 3 different techniques to sort of play Division 0, I guess, if you wanted to say, efficiently at least. So I also wanted to circle back quickly and also put out there that, playing main city should be enjoyable and to whatever degree you want, right? If your goal is to climb the leaderboards fast and be a top ranked player, then some of these tips in these videos are for you. But I also have other videos out there about, designing and having a nice looking city, right? So if that's the play style you want to go after, have a beautiful city, diverse buildings, lots of business combos set up. So there's also a way to play that, right? Maybe your goal isn't to just be top leaderboard player. You want to maybe set up like a nice looking city across your lands and play that type of style, more of like an actual city builder. So, if that's your play style, then by all means, maybe still listen through on this and take some of the pointers that I'm talking about to heart, but also, keep playing the way you're playing, right? If you're enjoying the way that you're playing, you're enjoying the style of your city, you've got some really nice businesses, and, you're setting up the actual layout of your buildings to a nicer degree. Like you can see in the background, I got one business sitting on a land right now. I have 5 businesses put down total. So, my city is completely bare. Whereas, I'll show you a little bit later, my mom's city, which is a little bit different, right? So she's got, business combos set up and everything going on that route, right? So you can play whatever way you want, right? Play with whatever businesses you want, but I want to just maybe talk about ways to be more efficient and to try to climb the leaderboard faster than other players. So let's hop into it with some Division 2 tips. So to start off, I'm going to talk a little bit about the technique that I use right now. So this is called drop-down techniques, right? The whole premise of this is that you want to be able to drop down the leaderboard and attack a lower prestige player to be able to stack up undefended bonuses, right? So if we take a look at my inbox, I am able to go and attack pretty soon. So, but let's take a look at my last attack here. So you can see I hit Anon Lion for 250% malware, which is pretty good. My max is 280, so this was a really good hit. And I get 175% bonus for basically 5 hours, right? So that's really, really nice, especially when you take a look at how much that ability costs, right? So I can buy a malware attack for 3.2 million. And essentially, if we take a look at the boosters, I'm getting a Shakira Boom boost for 5 hours, right? For 3.2 million vouchers or million diamonds. So to look at it like that, right, we would need basically 5 of those hits to match a Shakira Boom. But the thing with the Shakira Boom, you can't stack them, whereas these attacks are stacking and increasing the total overall bonus, right? So I'm able to get a lot better bonus overall by doing this drop-down technique. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second here. You can see already I've got a malware attack going at about 700%. So that's a 700% bonus boost to my businesses. So let's do a drop-down attack just to give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about. And I try to do it ethically. I try to target people that are not playing the game at all, right? So that's why I have 5 businesses. I have 4 main businesses, and you're seeing them right now. They're all quality 6 or higher. That are contributing to the gold production of my city, or the cash production, sorry, because now we're into titanium. And then I have 1 business that I leave just sitting somewhere on my land, and it's a level 1 prestige 0, like fresh out of a blueprint, and it's the lowest roll I could find for a base income. So this lets me drop very far down the leaderboard. You can see right now I've got 31 gold per second. So this, we'll see how long it takes for the leaderboard to refresh. Still sitting at 23 at the moment, so it'll probably take a minute or so. So sort of what I do here is just like scroll up and then just click on my name to see. Still hasn't loaded, so then you just scroll up. You need a little bit of activity. You can also exit and re-enter the leaderboard to get it to refresh, but this is just a little technique that I found. It usually refreshes it pretty quick. So let's see. Come on. It honestly just refreshed itself when I had probably just one of those businesses on there. That's why it's so low. There we go. So now we just dropped. I'm at 30 gold per second, and I've got a few people. Now, one of the problems with this strategy is you do start to run into some of these new players, but usually I can find somebody. And I will attack Legion down in these ranks. I mean, if you haven't made it over 100 gold per second, you played for 4 seconds. Like, you barely played the game. So to me, I recognize a lot of these names and things like that. So I've been doing this for a bit. I'll just attack whoever's sort of in this range. If I run out of targets, then I start hitting Legion. Just because, I mean, you abandoned the cause. So shoot, I forgot to put my weapons on. This is a big problem with the drop down. Talking, I'm getting going here. So of course I forgot to put my weapons on, so that was my bad. I always do the equip all and unequip all technique. I'm an idiot. Let me go. I was going to also put out another attack anyways. So that guy's gone now because I did enough damage, I guess, to him. So let me just also put out an aerial bombardment. I'm under attack, so I want to get some extra bonuses here. I usually skip out on the aerial because I usually don't get a good hit like this. I find that I'm typically hitting like 4 or 5%, and I also don't really use Kingpin. I find they're too expensive for the bonus, but just for the sake, since I messed up this whole sequence anyways, we'll just do a Kingpin Wrath as well. Hopefully I can get a good hit. That's not too bad. So now we can go and check to see where I have bonuses. And of course, if you need to do the unequip and equip all trick, don't forget to re-equip. I'm actually going to put up my defenses just to prevent anybody from coming in and attacking me, because I do have a few people that are close to me in the leaderboard rank that do enjoy attacking me. But we'll take a quick look here. So you get an extra 60% bonus from that, an 11% bonus and to my diamonds, and then a 30 because I forgot to equip my weapons. But that is actually a pretty decent roll. I probably would have hit somewhere in the 200s. So that's too bad I forgot to equip my weapons. But the reason why I don't use the Kingpin Wrath that often is just because of how much more expensive it is. And it does cap out at 100, like 100 bonus, right, after applying the 70%. Whereas like with the malware, you can get close to a 200% bonus, and it's a fraction of the cost, right? It's like 1/3 your cost, less than that, right? So that's sort of why I stick with just doing malware, typically just straight malware. Savannah is useless to me. I only have one land that can take advantage of it. And then so is the Veil of Venom. I'm not running any commons on my lands, as you can see. And usually once you hit about prestige 60, you're not really getting much gold or cash generation from your commons. So that's where they are really playing the role of just building business combos, which we'll talk about in the second strategy. So now we're going to chase the bonus. So let's go. I know this had a decent bonus on it already. So let me just drop this down and see what we're looking at. So 868, and then I think my second best was the Sapphire Sanctum previously. So let me just check, and I just kind of compare back and forth. So that was 800 and something, and this one is actually a little lower now. So I must have lost one of my bonuses. So let's check in on the Aurora Wild. Let's see what we're looking at for Aurora Wilds. Okay, let me see. So 700, I'm going to put this, which is going to get moved pretty soon anyways, because it's just about ready to level up anyhow. So let me just switch over And this might be a better land. So this is where it comes down to like chasing these bonuses, right? You need to find which land has the best multiplier on it for you. It ended up might being the Crimson Reaches, so I might need to take my Museo off of there and swap places. But let me just check these ones first. So yeah, that's not a very good bonus. That's down in the 4, almost 500 there. And then let's check the Stygian region. And yeah, probably not that good. So let's move from the Crimson Reaches. I am going to drop my motors onto here. That way it's getting the almost 900% bonus. Gotta love some lag. I'm just going to remove this at the moment. Grab this business here. Come on. There we go. Let me just double check that bonus it's getting. So that is the 868 that I want. And let me put a gold rush on since I will be moving on to my Leo & Co. pretty soon. Let me see. You know what? It's not that important because that Leo & Co. is literally just about ready to get leveled up, which I will probably do as soon as I'm done recording this video. So let's put this on here. Still gets a pretty decent bonus of close to 800. And then let me drop this guy here, which is my final business. So these are the 4 main businesses that I run. Now that I'm getting in close to the 200s, sort of after 150, these businesses start to die off. You can see on my board here the difference between the generation at the same prestige, right? Like my motors doing 68 BA versus my which is just about to level up, my Leo & Co. being 6.59. And that's where I say a lot of the times, you know, my Leo & Co. is basically functioning as a motors when it's 1 prestige higher. So when it's at 171, it'll be producing about 70 BA. So that's sort of where they match. So that's what I'm sort of looking at as to drop down. Now, the reason why you do this is because you are trying to get that bonus as high as possible. Now, if, you know, as you play through, you can easily get this bonus up to somewhere close to like 1,500 if you play very consistently, especially now that we have, let me see if I can find that person's name I attacked. Yeah, let's just go to Lucky Me. And I will show you, because now with the Brave badges in, there's Lucky Me. So this is the person I just hit. You can see they are under attack for basically 5 hours. I believe my attack is like 4 hours and 58 or 59 minutes. So that's pretty good. So I'm able to stack these attacks for the duration of 5 hours to be able to build up a really strong attack booster. And that's going to basically give you an extra prestige, maybe a prestige and a half on that business's income generation, right? When you hit 1,000, that's basically like you're up in a whole prestige. So it's pretty insane. You can see too, like when I'm playing without attacks, right? I'm sort of at around 10 BA. Now I'm up to about 100 BA. So that's where that like almost factor of an extra prestige comes into play. Now, I'm also, as you probably noticed as I was putting my businesses down and looking at them, I do not have any elements imbued on any of my businesses. And this is one, primarily because I don't want to take the negative effect on it. Mind you, it's only at max like 50% negative debuff for having it in a land that it's not compatible with. So it's not significant. But it's also quite a big cost when it comes to the diamonds to imbue it. And I just haven't really bothered to play with it. Now, if you are interested, you can start to add the imbuements, those imbued with elements. If you leave them on your land, and if you're playing the second method that I'm going to talk about, you're going to take advantage and it's going to help you, right? So there is reason to keep a business on a specific land if you're not playing drop down. Now, the big negatives to this drop-down methodology is that I am sacrificing diamond production from business combos. to allow myself to be able to drop down a lot more efficiently and effectively, right? I only have 4 businesses to remove compared to if I had to remove all of my common businesses. Now, one of the tedious things is, and since I'm getting ready to basically prestige, I'll get these all set up, is you need to go, and it is tedious, but every prestige cycle, you need to place every single business back on your land, and then you need to go through and prestige them all. Now, normally what I do when I'm prestiging them is I get them up to the next prestige, and then I bring it to the next prestige, and you can see I stop at 210. That way it's a simple, just, 100x, 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 100x. Bring it up to the next prestige, click next prestige, and then 100x, 100x, and then finish off those 10x's. Or finish it off, with the 1x's to get it to 10. And that way it's just a little easier for the next time that I need to bring it up to the next prestige. And then once you're done, you remove it, and you go through all the lands. So normally I don't do this one by one. I'll show you, I put every single business down, and then I go through and I prestige them. So that's just the methodology I do. So let me just, I'll pause the video real quick. I'll get these all put down, and then we'll talk a little bit about the last part of the strategy, and then we'll move on to the next one. All right, so I did most of the boring work off camera here. Just got one last one here to prestige. So obviously you have to go put all of these businesses down and then level them all up. Now, normally what I'll do as I'm leveling them up is, I would remove them in inventory like this, like I showed you earlier, right? So I've already got all of these at 170. And one little tip that I like to do, and because I just ran into this problem, I always do this though, is I keep a few backup businesses. So you can see I've got a 165 right there, and I've also got another 165 in my inventory, and I'll need to build one more. I like to keep 2, really, just as sort of like backups. But essentially these are just so that when I do run into needing to introduce another business for my prestige requirements, I already have them ready to go, right? Otherwise, then you get desperate. You're going to press that max button. You're wasting diamonds. I mean, most people have diamonds to waste at this point, so it's not really as critical as it used to be. But, old habits die hard, and I'd rather save the 5% if I can. Use it on whatever else, right? So it's pretty simple. Try to keep a business that's between 5 and 10 prestiges lower. That way it's minimal amount of clicking required just to get it caught up and meeting the prestige requirements. So you can go get this all done. One of the nice things is, once you level it up, I guess the nice thing about this technique, right, is the leveling up is a lot easier. You keep these. Now, when you have time, right, if you got a laptop, you're sitting in front of the TV watching something, right, that's when you sort of build these prestige requirements. Or you're going to get desperate and you might go to the market and purchase something. Now, one other thing you're going to probably notice is I'm just using cool cats. Now, this is a very prominent strategy. Most people are using just cool cats. So here, I'm just going to remove all of these. I'm going to go through. But it's just for the simple ease of how they are to level up, right? You got the 100x, and then you just click a couple of the 10 or the 1x's, right? It's the simplest, rather than having to do 100x, 10x, and also the 1x's, where that's required on gyms and on diners. So a lot of people just prefer the cool cats. You'll also see they run a premium in the market. That's usually what people are using, building, selling. That's the highest valued business when it comes to the commons. So now I'm just going to go through. Normally I would have removed all these as I leveled them up, but I wanted to just level them up, but also allow you to see, I guess, the amount of cool cats that I have, right? That way you can get an idea of like, okay, I see what you mean. It's just pure cool cats, which is why, my old shtick with the meta here is, it's just cool cat city, which it is. Like, all you're doing is just building a bunch of cool cats to meet your prestige requirements, and then you've got your 4 main businesses. And just like in my previous video, I was talking about, you have your main cash builder. That's my main motors. My second cash builder, that's my museo. And you can see them very prominently now that, 60 versus 19. These two businesses, I mean, this one has a booster, this one doesn't on it, but, this is basically double what the Museo is doing, which is on my Sapphire Sanctum, which are basically, this is 3-4 times more than what my rare and my uncommons are doing at my current prestige. When you're at a lower prestige, your uncommons are producing a bit more cash for you. I mean, they're not completely useless at this point, not like these, right? Like, if you look, like, I'm barely removing any income as I remove these. Even if I had leveled them up a bit more past 200, like, they just, like, if we take a look, like, they're not really producing anything for me. Like, you get to 1 AZ versus I'm already at BA. So, like, they're not a significant factor when it comes to producing cash for my city, which is why this drop-down strategy works really well. Right, there's no point in using Veil of Venom to boost them. Like, you're going to boost a 1% of your city by some marginal percentages and get, like, maybe they'll be producing about 5% of your cash. Whereas, like, that's just a waste of diamonds in my mind. You'd be better off just sticking with your malware. And for the most part, all I do is use malware, which we will, in a moment, do another drop down because I've got the notifications there. So we're ready. This can get upgraded now. And then I just sit here and I collect my 1x's. Do my 1x's until I hit the level I need. So this might be a couple seconds. But this is sort of the general idea of doing these drop down techniques. You've got your main power business that's going to be producing your cash, as well as a couple support businesses. Now, one thing to keep in mind with this is you are paying twice the amount of cash to level up businesses in Division 1 than what you were in Division 0. And it's the same with the diamonds. So everything is doubled. And when you hit Division 2, that means everything's 4 times more expensive than it was when you were in Division 0. So there are significant cost increases that you need to take into account, which is why when I do plan on getting to Division 2, or once I do get to Division 2, I'm going to have to bring up 2 other big businesses. And I say 2 other big businesses, one because I'm going to leave it in Division 2 or Division 1 to be able to produce titanium to bring other businesses up for me to sell if I do plan on selling. And 2, I'm going to need a second major cash producing business in Division 2 to help me continue moving. So eventually I will be running 5 total businesses and an extra there just as a cash generator. I do have some major businesses like a couple Apex or an Apex, a couple arcades that do sit in Division 0. So I'll probably choose maybe an arcade and bring it up as sort of my cash generator for Division 1. Just to be able to level up any cool cats or any other businesses fairly efficiently. You'd be looking at maybe about a day and a half, 2 days to bring up another legendary or epic 4-space business right to max level, just based on having it generate. If you're doing the drop down technique, it's going to be a little bit quicker because it's going to also get boosted. So you're going to be generating a significant amount more titanium than you would if you're just playing like a normal style and even just attacking the people around your area. Now, one of the biggest benefits with the drop-down strategy, and I mentioned it earlier, is that you're getting an undefended debuff attack against your opponent, which gives you a full bonus, opposed to if you attack somebody that has a defense up, then you're getting a reduced bonus, right? So, for example, if the person had 30% defense up, right, and you hit them with 40%, then you're only getting 70% of that 10% difference, right? So then you would end up with like a 7% bonus on your business, which to me is not really the greatest. So that's where it's like if you're dropping down, you're attacking people that haven't logged in and haven't played in years, it seems, then you're able to get a little bit better of a bonus just by doing it that way. So that's sort of the reason why the drop down is a little bit more beneficial than attacking people in your own range. Now, again, you can also drop down a little bit, hit some people that are, like maybe in the 10, 15 prestiges lower than you. That's a technique you could do. But again, they're probably going to have defenses up, especially if you're constantly doing it. Those people are active players, and that's where it comes into me discussing ethical drop down, right? Where you're not pestering players that are actually playing, right? That's the big key for me is, I don't want to be dropping down and attacking like new players that are like prestige 1, prestige 2, somewhere in there. Just because it's going to frustrate them. They're going to hate the game. And that's the last thing we need is people, harassing the new players that are coming in. Now, mind you, but the way I'm playing, I forgot to equip my weapons after putting, or my tools. Another thing, that's because my head's in the video right now, guys. Sorry. Normally, I'm really religious with this, like get it done, switch over, and I'm pretty good. And I didn't even put the defenses up, which is why I had the armor on. So anyways, let's drop down. We're at 34 cash. So we're able to drop down, and let's do another hit. I do like to attack the people that are below me because in case I do get bumped up. So let's do another hack here. And that's all I'm going to do is just the hack because that's normally what I do. We'll see where it lands and replace the businesses. So that was not a very good attack. But let's check the stats. You'll see I still do get a decent, like almost 100% bonus there. So not bad for 3.2 diamonds, 3.2 million diamonds. Could be worse. So let's go. We're going to put this business down here. It did not get much of the bonus. I think this was the top one. So now I'm going to drop this one here as the top producer. Let's see what we got for a bonus, 821. And then the Sapphire Sanctum was I think it might have been actually the third best. So I'm going to put you back on here. This is where you were before. Let me just double check. Yeah, 646. And then this one's probably a little bit better. This is probably closer to that 800 as well. So we'll put the main motors back on there. And then, of course, let's not forget to go back. This time I do need to put my defenses up, so let me just actually remember to do it. Put my defenses on. I usually like to just do a little pattern of buy one, put one on. Buy one, put one on. And usually it does not give me good rolls. So let's see what I got. 85, that's okay. That's not bad. And that is terrible. That is an absolutely terrible roll on a malware. But I am stuck with it now. So my Strong One and Ghost will have some fun stealing some bonuses from me for about 8 hours when they do come back online and start attacking. So it's these two that have been sort of back and forth with. But anyways, so that's generally what the concept is with the drop down technique, right? You only keep a few businesses on, you drop down, attack, pop them back on, and get those bonuses. You can start to use the what do you want to call it? The elements on your businesses. I don't think the element is going to add significant of a bonus. I mean, if you get to like rank 4 or level 4, level 5 on it, it's going to be, maybe at 100% ish, right? And at worst, when you're at level 10, you're going to get a minus 50% reduction at worst. So if you're chasing these bonuses, that reduction is really not that big of a deterrent when you're landing 150% bonus as a malware, so you can chase those still. So if you are interested in using elements, I think that this drop down technique can still use elements fairly efficiently. But as of right now, for me, I just haven't bothered. I'm not going to commit my businesses to a specific region yet. I'm too indecisive. So for me, it's just like I'm gonna just wait until I get a little bit more refined understanding of how the new mechanic really plays in and where I want to dedicate my businesses to. All right, so next up, I want to switch over and we can take a look at my mom's account. So she does the other play style that I wanted to talk about, and then there's sort of a hybrid style between these two. And then the last one that I'll also mention, which is the buy-in. So you can see she's got her arcade set up here, and then with her arcade, she's got a bunch of her hotels set up all the way around them. Now she is using And we're good to level this up. Finally, she is using a business with an element on it. So she does get that little extra bonus. You can see down here, element, the cash bonus at level 1 is a 20%. So that's pretty cool. You are able to get that little extra bonus from your element usage. And I mean, it is what it is, right? You sort of use it or not. So for her businesses aren't moving. It makes sense to put this on. Mind you, I would have said put it on, something like your Leisureopolis. Since it already is quality 2, you're probably not going to be doing too much merging. But putting it on something like this, which is a quality 2, these are pretty cheap. You could merge fairly easily. So I would say try to get these to like quality 5 before you do imbue them. That's just my personal recommendation. But yeah, so you can see you get these business combos set up. Let me just see if I can flip on the ability VFX. So you can see the little lines that come up to show you what businesses are linked. So you can set up as many pages as you want. And these all, I guess there's not on this one. We'll just take a look at this. So these all provide an extra bonus for your diamonds, right? So the ultimate getaway, this is what the combo is with the arcade, and you're able to get 35k per hour, and you also do get bonuses. So if you attack, these also do get increased from your aerial bombardment attack. Now this one being comboed with a bunch of different ones, you could see all of the different ones that add up. So not too bad, like 70, 140, basically 205 extra, plus the 30% bonus on all of them. So you're getting a decent amount of extra as a bonus compared to, like, let's just see for interest's sake here, right? So she's at 32.24. If we remove it, drops you down. So you lose 0.24, right? So this is where these business combos come in really handy. You're able to set up a decent amount and, basically just play static, right? You keep these businesses here. You're not planning on moving them around or chasing bonuses at all. And then you just sort of attack the people that are in your range. So you can, attack the people that are above or below you, start little wars or whatever. The other thing you can do is you could remove some of your higher producing businesses and see if you can drop down a few to attack somebody that's just out of your range. That way they can't really retaliate with the 95. Depends on how you want to play it. But personally, I'm, like I said, a fan of the big drop down. Keep barely any businesses on your land and just drop down all the way down to 0, or next to 0, which is like super low cash. I try to attack people under level 100. But this is the other technique you could do, right? Keep your businesses all on your land, set them all up so that you've got a variety of business combos. Businesses comboing off each other. We've got some gyms here with your LL Sports, right? We've got your diners with your Cool Cat lounges, and then we've got the Felice Cineplex, which pairs with the Cyber Bazaar, and then also the Cyber Bazaar pairs with your Panthera Power Station. So she's got the skins on there. And the reason why I'm taking care of my mom, she's on vacation right now, so I'm basically coming in clicking these daily just to make sure she's not going to miss out on the free skin, right? We all love those free skins. So make sure, if you're listening right now and you haven't clicked on that daily reward, make sure you get in there, click your daily reward. You don't want to be missing it, right? So yeah, you're able to set up all these different business combos, right? They're pretty important. That is going to give you a lot more diamond generation. And that's really the key around this other strategy is instead of using your diamonds to purchase a lot of attacks, you're using your diamonds that you're getting extra from these business combos to purchase higher value boosters, right? So then, and you're also going to be spending some of these diamonds on increasing your element, right? So you're able to produce the higher element level that is going to allow you to get two things from it. You're going to get that bonus that we were looking at, right? So if we go and take a look at this business, we get that extra bonus, right? 20% cash, but we also get a booster duration. So a 1.25 increase in our booster duration. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So if we drop, now let's just put a gold rush on here. Actually, we'll just put a lightning surge. We'll just put the gold rush. yeah, we'll stick with the gold rush. I don't want to mess up too much stuff. I don't know what my mom's doing, but so you can see we got an extra 4.5 minutes from putting that just because of being level 1, right? So there's benefits to that. Let me just power level through this. So you're able to, get a little extra bonuses there. You get a little extra duration on your booster. You get that extra 20%. Now if you were up to like, level 5, level 6, as you get higher and higher on these element levels, these bonuses get better and better. So definitely something to consider. Again, if you do get attacked too, there's a reduction in the debuff. So not significant, which is where I'm just kind of like, I'm glad they boosted the gold production bonus, because at the start where it was like maxing out at 15%, it was just purely nonsense. Like there was zero reason to do this. But now it is kind of enticing, where I think the max is like 450%, which is your lightning booster. So you could have a permanent lightning booster by getting to element level 10. So that's really the big goal when you're going to be playing this strategy, is you're going to look at some of the businesses that you are consistently keeping on a specific land, and you're going to level up them on their elements, as well as, keeping a good variety of business combos. Now, the other thing I will say is you want to try to also still balance and be fairly lean. If you're running too many big businesses, it's going to slow you down, even if you like them. You can keep some bigger businesses, especially if you have diamonds to burn, just to kind of like keep them a little bit behind. They'll still contribute a little bit to your gold, but once I hit like 52 on this and 52 on a few other businesses, I could bring this up to 51, no problem. It's not going to do crazy numbers to my gold. It's not going to boost it that much, but it's just going to kind of keep pace, because eventually, this would be recommended. Leave this at, your P289 max level for Division 0. That way it's producing gold for you to be able to bring up businesses, especially if you're planning on bringing up cool cats to replace any of your other businesses and stuff like that. That's weird. I don't know why it just switched. Just level it up anyways. That was a weird little glitch there. But yeah, so that's sort of this strategy. You're staying pretty static. You're taking advantage of business combos, and you're also taking full advantage of trying to put elemental levels on your businesses. So it's not really too crazy, but you're not dropping down. Maybe you'll be attacking people within your range, right? Depends on what your plan is for how you want to manage your city, right? But this really is the better route if you're interested in building a diverse and pretty looking city, right? Like this looks a lot better when you look at it than when you look at mine, right? Like if we switch back and take a look at mine, it just looks boring compared to something that's like that, right? So now we get a nice shot of just one business sitting on on a land. So a little less exciting when you're doing the drop down strategy, but again, this is purely just for moving fast on the leaderboard, right? Versus, wanting to have a diverse city. So now the second last one I want to talk about, which is the hybrid model, which I will say is favorite of a few players. I believe FFTB Hacker, which he's ranked number 1 right now, employs this methodology as well. And so what it is you still keep your main 4 to 6 power businesses that you're using, however you've set it up, and then you keep all of your business combos as well. But what you're doing is you're building business combos to prestige 10, because anything after prestige 10 for prestiging that business does not add extra diamonds, right? At level prestige 1, you're getting 1/10 of the business combo value. At prestige 10, you get the full value of the business combo. So what you can do is you can set up all 10 lands on all 7 regions for the most part with your business combos. This is going to significantly increase your diamond production, so it allows you to use higher value boosts and attack without any care. Like you could just use whatever attacks you want, no problem. You would find justification to use Kingpin just because you get that extra little bonus applied to this business. Whereas personally, I don't use it just because to me, at maxing out at 100%, I'd rather just save the diamonds and just use the malware. but you're able to set up all of these P10 business combos. And then what you're going to be doing is dropping down and hitting people that are active players. And this comes back to where I was saying like ethical drop down versus just playing drop down, right? And I don't like the playing drop down strategy where you're attacking active players. Like people that are at Prestige 10 are active players. They're playing, they're trying to have fun, trying to learn the game. And if you're dropping down as, a high ranked player like myself at, 20, 25 range, dropping down and hitting people in that, 3,000 ish range, I feel bad about it. I mean, maybe they're closer to like 2,000, somewhere in there anyways, right? But they're pretty low on the leaderboard. So it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and seeing people come to the Discord and be like, hey, why is this guy attacking me? Why can't I attack him back? It just kind of, it's not as nice. So to me, that's why I like to keep a nice clean land. I'm taking a massive hit. Like I could have, an extra 3 million, maybe 4 million with just a couple lands of business combos per region, right? If I filled up all of my lands with business combos, I could probably be sitting at like 65 million diamonds per hour, right? Which is pretty significant. So it is a big hit. It's about a 15 million diamond per hour hit, I would say, by playing this strategy. But I also am not really lacking diamonds, so I do tend to stick to the drop down non-hybrid method. But if you're interested and you're starting to play and you want those diamonds, you need those diamonds rather than purchasing lands, then you can set up those and drop down and hit people that are around the Prestige 10 range. Mind you, they might complain a bit, so hopefully you don't mind taking a little bit of flack. And then the last methodology I want to talk about, which is pretty much the same as what we had talked about for Division 0, just the only things I want to mention that's slightly different, is that when you do purchase a big business, you're going to need to consider its gold production a little bit more minutely. You need to make sure that it's going to be producing enough cash for you to level up efficiently, or you may need to purchase two. Like you might need to purchase something like a high quality maxed out motors, as well as a Museo, or something like maybe a Felice Cineplex, something like that, right? Now, the thing with this is these businesses are expensive. Right now, Division 1 businesses that are maxed out are going for ludicrous numbers, like absolutely insane. So if we go and take a look, like you can see this one right here, 4.77 million. So basically, to purchase this, the amount of crow you would have to put into the game would be pretty close to like, I want to say 300 or 3,200-ish crow, right? Or sorry, 5,300 crow, somewhere around in that range. It's a lot more because it's a 20% tax on top of this to be able to bring this amount in. Like I couldn't even purchase this right now if I wanted to. I couldn't buy this either, right? So both of these realistically are something you could buy to try to power level to, which I have a video on that if you're interested. But this technique is very expensive, especially because you probably already tried buying your way into Division 1. So then to have to purchase these as well, you're looking at a very, very expensive endeavor. You can see this one here. This has got to either be Meta or FFTB Hacker. It's got these set up. These are expensive. I can't even purchase it because I'm not in Division 2. But again, this technique could work for any division, right? You purchase a higher level business. Let's go see what's on the market actually and available. So you purchase a higher level business, and then you just basically use cool cats to meet that prestige requirement, and you just level as fast as you possibly can. Now you can also do the drop down, attack people, blah, 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 all that type of stuff, right? Something like this would be great. That is a lot of crow. That is a very, very expensive business, and I do not think it's worth that amount. Personally, if I saw this at like 2.5 million, maybe 3 million, I think it would be a buy. Right now, this is about 4 times overpriced, in my opinion. I don't know who's buying it. I don't think anybody's purchasing. But this is sort of the current prices of some of these businesses. So yeah, that would be, I guess, the general route to go if you were to play Division 1, right? We've got the drop down strategy, playing a super lean, efficient city. We've got the I'm having fun and I'm building the city I like. I'm using business combos and I'm not really too worried about the leaderboard. I'm just playing to have fun, which is 100% the way I used to play. And I am probably going to get back into that play style pretty soon. Probably once I hit Division 2, I'm just going to sort of coast from there. And then you've got the hybrid between the two, where you take advantage of the business combos and still do the drop down. So you drop down to hit people around the Prestige 10 range. And then you've got this final one where it's like you're playing super lean. Basically, you've bought you bought all 95 cool cats. You've prestiged or promoted a cool cat, and now you're looking at purchasing a really high level business to just continue leveling those cool cats up to this business, right? That would be the next technique. And then that way you have this business and all of your cool cats ready to go up once you hit this P289 into Division 2. And then rinse and repeat, or you start to look at structuring and developing a proper city that has its own cash flow efficiencies, and you're not doing this buy-in strategy to basically just keep pace with everybody else. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. I mean, it was kind of hard to come up with the best ways to really broach this topic, but I think hopefully this gives you guys a good idea of a few different techniques you could employ to help dominate Division 1. But again, one big thing you do need to keep in mind is the cash cost increases as well as the diamonds, right? Everything doubles, and that's sort of why I've chosen to go with an epic instead of a legendary, just because I'm thinking once I get to Division 2, the costs of that legendary business are going to double again, and you're going to be looking, at a lot more diamonds. Right now, this business is, 72 million. So in Division 2, it's going to be close to 140 per prestige, something like that, which is pretty crazy. Maybe not that much. Maybe it's 120, somewhere there. I think the legendaries were 140. And then after that, Division 3, they're going to double again. So you'd be looking at like 280, almost 300 million diamonds per prestige, which is pretty insane because I only make about 1 billion diamonds per day at the most. So it's quite a significant cost when you're playing with some of these bigger businesses. But again, you do need that cash generation. There's no way you can play with just uncommons and rares. You need something that's an epic. You need a couple of them, really. And I mean, eventually they're probably also going to need a legendary, just with how much cash is required. So I have no experience with Division 2. Maybe, hop in the Discord, see if Meta wants to share some insight, or if FFTB Hackers got some insight for you if you're getting close to Division 2. But otherwise, this is what I got for you guys for Division 1. Hopefully that helps you get an idea of different play styles, or at least the play style that I'm using right now. And maybe it changes your mind and you want to try doing the drop down technique. If you do, drop it down in the comments below what you guys are playing, what the style and way you're developing your city. And if you have any questions in regards to some of the techniques, by all means, please drop them down in the comments below, or try to get a hold of me on Discord. I can help you out as well. But anyways, guys, that's all I really got for you. So hopefully it was insightful. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. And drop down below also in the comments if you have any recommendations for other videos or topics that you want me to talk about. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one. Have a great weekend.